She described the whole process of the dockets being given to Shadrack Sibiya as a heist process. General Sintumula did not only throw Shadrack Sibiya under the bus, he literally buried him and sent him straight to hell. In this video, let us talk about General Sintumula's testimony. So she started by speaking about the disbandment and that there was disbandment of the PKTT, and then her role mostly, it became very important when they had to now start giving the dockets. She had that conversation and she knew that that was supposed to be done, or heard that it's supposed to be done, but did not really approve and was not really happy about that. Before we can talk about the dockets, let us first talk about the disbandment. She believes that number one, Mkhwanazi was in the orientation process and that there was no way that Mkhwanazi was supposed to disband.
That you became aware of this decision, or someone spoke to you, maybe let me be more specific, that someone said anything to you about this decision of the disbandment?
Yeah. You know, I think after the July 6 press briefing by General Mkhwanazi, I realized that actually I've never even seen this writing. Not on social media, I don't think I came across it. Nobody even showed it to me. So when it happened, I think maybe it's because the critical 2 weeks I was not on duty. Maybe if I was, I would have been made aware either by General Sibiya himself, but no copy was ever shared. And it was actually for the first time that I heard from General Khumalo that the team was being disbanded. And again, it didn't provide reasons. Like I said, it was just, so for me, that was just, in jest actually. Yes.
And before, we know the decision was communicated at least on the 31st of December. At any point before this discussion with General Khumalo, so I'm going back even to 2024, had you ever become aware of an intention or a conversation to disband the PKTT?
No. No, Chair.
And if there was such consideration or even discussion, by virtue of your position, and please explain a bit if you're able to, would you have expected to have been part of that conversation?
I think in actual, I'm covering this later in the statement, but maybe let me say it was business as usual, where you just have a decision like that to say disband the structure. Normally what would happen, we actually would be called into a meeting where all the teams, we've got a number of intervention teams throughout the country, and then we manage those through the structure called NCCF, and they then, General Musikiti, the chairperson, so they would come provide progress report and we assess whether the intervention is working or not. And I think it is in that meeting where then, whether it's General Musikiti or the National Commission, I can say, we then can start decommissioning the team. So not only myself, crime intelligence will be there, visible policing will be there, forensic services will be there, because we all deploy our capacities in support of the team.
Secondly, she said that the fact that Mkhwanazi was in the orientation, and also the fact that this is the project of Mkhwanazi, it was very wrong of them to disband the PKTT without even speaking to Mkhwanazi.
Mkhwanazi should have been the first person to be notified about the disbandment.
Yes.
Okay, continue from there.
Yes, because, and I hear people throwing this, you are the custodian of the detectives or the dockets. The provincial commissioner is empowered by the act to look at all issues crime in the province.
Thirdly, she said that she owes, actually all of them, they owe an apology to South Africans, to the affected individuals by this disbandment. Because remember that when this disbandment happened, dockets had to be taken to certain people, or they had to now stop with the investigations, which then affects the people or the families of the victims who have lost their life as a result.
On your assessment, the minister was still orientating himself.
Yes.
Through calling these various meetings with this division, that division, and so on. So it's a firm view that he was at a stage where he was still orientating himself.
It is my view, and it will remain, because I think I've worked in state security. Our strength at the time was 3,000. I worked at NICOC. Our strength, I'm not sure, but we were not, probably 2,000 or even less. In the police, when I arrived, the police were almost 200,000. That's like a cumbersome structure. I don't think any police minister will leave having said, I understood the police. correctly. I am managing so many components. Sometimes when something comes, I'm like, but I was not aware, because it's impossible. I mean, it's a task that you really need a very strong management information team to always be on top of things. So the minister, I think, based on his duration of being with us, definitely he was still in the orientation phase.
So now, let us move to the dockets. Shadrack Sibiya is the biggest role player when it comes to the dockets. The amount of pressure she gave the general is just out of this world.
They're not designed to actually carry dockets. And I'm saying I'm not a police station. General Khumalo Mbuso will tell you, I always say, don't bring dockets to me, I'm not a police station. Because the dockets actually are a key commodity of the police station. So in the discussions, even with the ministers' meeting, I think at the end of the day, it was agreed that those dockets must be removed from the PKTT as a team to the detectives within serious and violent crimes, and that will be a murder and robbery unit. So this then talks to that approach to say the dockets will be removed from the PKTT, but they must immediately go back to their province of origin, that is KwaZulu-Natal, and I think in relation to the 3 other dockets, that would have been Eastern Cape.
That with this instruction to you, General Sibiya is actually fixing his own timelines now, contrary to the plan that you say was adopted in principle in the presence of the minister.
I think the commissioner is correct, which is also why we find it odd. I mean, I found it odd that, and also probably the tone when I read it, it was more like, do it, because you're writing on the 25th, and you want all of these things by the 25th, no, 22nd, and you want all of these things by the 25th. So it didn't also make operational sense. So it went to that immediate, approach to getting things done. And again, as I said, we were actually focused on the plan. So on the plan, there was no action that spoke to what he was instructing.
This pressure got her to a point that she started not even enjoying her work. She felt like this was her being victimized by Shadrack Sibiya, because every time, whenever they talk, it's all about the docket. And what is so shocking is that the resolution that was met in the March meetings that happened in Cape Town, the resolution was that these dockets have to be given to the PKTT, they have to be given to Mkhwanazi or remain with the PKTT. But Shadrack Sibiya wanted the dockets in Pretoria. Why of these dockets? So why is it that Shadrack Sibiya really wanted to get his hands on the dockets, despite the fact that General Sintumule doesn't want them? And I'm going to discuss the lies of Ms. Motsepe later on, but I just wanted to get some of these points out before we can discuss about inconsistencies or lies that Motsepe told, which were proven today by Sintumule that they were lies.
Yeah, it was after the National Commissioner asked me to go to Cape Town to intervene in that matter of an elderly victim. General Sibiya says to me, I'm advised that I should just keep quiet and let you go. You are free to go to Cape Town. That was in the evening, and in the morning I responded humbly and I said, good morning, Pat, my DNC. I am not perfect, God, there's one thing I know. Ngiyakuhlonipha, ngeke ngenza into ongayithandi. Ngathembisa ukuthi I'll always support and work with you. Ngowami umlomo, lokho zange ngikwashintsha, futhi ngeke kwashintsha nami. Angisona isitha, futhi ngeke ngaba yiso. Ngicela kungamosheki ubudlelwane bethu emsebenzini, ngiyabonga. Then I tried to call him and he didn't answer.
General, can you translate that for us who are not fluent in isiZulu?
I was saying that as a member working under his command, I'll always respect him, and I'm not here to do anything that could actually be contrary to what I'm supposed to do, but also he mustn't view me as an enemy because I'm not.
There was a winding down process plan that was adopted in these meetings that were happening in March, but Shadrack Sibiya didn't care. Wanted the disbandment immediately, wanted the dockets immediately, especially the dockets. I don't know, like it's just so shocking. I just can't wait for him to come to Nhlanhla and to answer on why did he want the dockets so much, especially since Sintumule revealed that they are wrong by saying that these dockets, they were supposed to come to them. Actually, these dockets were supposed to go to the stations of origin for them to continue investigating. And it does not make sense for them to say that these dockets came to Pretoria for auditing, because they were never audited.
General, I can't open the clip. Can you please send? And then I asked, Gauteng CI you mean? Because he just said Gauteng. So Gauteng for me, I'm thinking General Khumalo wouldn't be responsible for Gauteng investigations, So, and I'm thinking it could then be Gauteng CI.
And then his response on the following page.
Yeah, no, he says then both Gauteng CI and Khumalo, but they can only hurt themselves. They clearly don't know me. And I proceed to say, good morning, my DNC. It's not a great feeling to be chased for no reason. I've been there, I know. God again, we pray a God who says he will fight our battles. Vengeance is his, says the Lord. Then he responds by saying, the problem arises when you get chased by small people. Remember, he's been saying that umbulazi amgijimisa. So for me, this was nothing new. So whatever was on the video was supporting his notion that Khumalo was investigating him.
So in his saying to you that Khumalo is chasing him, in him saying that
Yes.
to you, he had never said to you why he says so. He's never said to you, this and that has happened. He's never given you that kind of background to those statements.
I'm prompted to move to the other paragraph where I actually say that General Sibiya was prone to cast suspicion around those of us who were working closely with him. So I've been in a position where he said I was investigating him.
In a way, they were handed over.
Yeah. Maybe respectfully, commissioners. I think any leader or commander would actually be at fault if the reason you move a docket is for auditing. We did auditing. Those are done at a station. You don't take a docket from its original place of investigation to wherever to audit. If it does happen, you take a copy, but not the docket. So those dockets didn't come to head office for auditing. It was specifically for a handover.
Which means Motsepe was lying by saying that they audited the dockets, they found all those mistakes, they found all those discrepancies that they found in the dockets. So that goes to show you the lies that were told by Motsepe. You know, I must commend you before I can continue. Commend you, South Africans. The way y'all have become investigators overnight. So you guys amazing. The way you've become investigators, we saw through her, Motsepe, that she's lying. And today her colleague, her superior, has confirmed that she's lying. Secondly, Motsepe was not supposed to go to Shadrack Sibiya directly. You need to acknowledge protocol. Protocol has to be observed. But apparently, Motsepe seems like she was accounting to Shadrack Sibiya, and Motsepe was also contacting Khumalo directly. Hey guys, let us get to the lies of Motsepe, guys. Let us get to it, because clearly I funu kuhamba land.
General Motsepe, I hope it was her, would not agree with you.
Yeah.
Basically, I understood her to be saying there's nothing special with the PKTT. The rest of the detectives in the country perform as well as the PKTT is said to be performing.
Can I add, Commissioner, that actually there's nothing special about any of the units in the police, because we are actually called to do what we do. It's the energy we bring that makes a difference. It's the image we portray to the communities that brings hope that actually my case is in the good hands. So it's a relative response, and I think to be safe, I leave it at that, Commissioner.
Motsepe has been lying. Motsepe always posed herself as someone that everything before she does it, she will take it through Sintumule, meaning she was throwing Sintumule under the bus. If you guys can go to the video, I'll link it here and listen to her, because I did make a video about her testimony. It's like she was blaming Sintumule for everything, to say that I acted, I did go and consult Sintumule, this is the things that happened. But with the testimony of Sintumule, that was not even the case. Mugel Naetan high. She was just doing her thing, without even consulting Sintumule, because she found out from Khumalo that Motsepe is actually phoning Khumalo, which is not part of the protocol, and it's also speaking to Shadrack Sibiya. Secondly, they were not supposed to investigate those dockets, but according to Motsepe, anyone can investigate anything. You can take any docket anytime and investigate it. It doesn't mean that since it was investigated by you, no one else will take it. Whereas the lady here, which is Sintumule, is saying that no, people should investigate and finish their cases, start until the end.
Also, the question of the detective having to study the content of the docket,
yeah.
and also get to know what still needs to be done, whereas the original investigator was already flowing or running, as it were. So there will be delays, and that in addition to the observations that you have made, which are quite important.
Thank you, Commissioner. And actually, you are now jacking my brain to think even further, particularly on the PKTT. These members are vested in what they do. And I mean, it happens everywhere in many environments, but because it's what we see, they actually make sure that whatever they start, they will run until they finish. And please don't ask me for statistics because I won't be able to give you. I'm just giving you a reflection of what I know and what I've seen. You know, the docket might be given to somebody not with the same zeal, not with the same energy and commitment. So in that sense, again, the family already, if you look at the police, if you look at the perception index of the police, I don't think we're doing so well.
So PKTT was supposed to not just be disbanded abruptly. We need to go through the plan and take things, you know, little by little. And she said that she never wanted those dockets. She said, the dockets. But from what we were told by Ms. Motsepe, those dockets belong in that office of Sintumul. So that is why they had the dockets. So you see, guys, the lies that were told by Ms. Motsepe and the issue of the dockets and, you know, the audits, that she was doing audits. But according to Sintumule, who is the superior of Motsepe, says that all of that was not done. Meaning that Mugel Naetantoya High, she was just doing her thing without even informing her superiors. Meaning that she was just colliding or having conversations with Shadrack Sibiya as to what are they supposed to do and what is it that they are not supposed to do.
And she reminded me that this happened at Kotsimampur. And I remember telling her that, General, this is a mistake. Because I even checked my call logs on the day to say, the only call I have to you, 27 March 2025, and this is when I requested you to accompany me. And when she couldn't get Joy with me, I traveled to Abu Dhabi for the week I think I was supposed to appear. And I asked that I be given time because I had to travel for work purposes. On the 13th of November, she then called my support staff, where she inquired if they remember. But the scenery has changed. To me, she said Kotsimampuru, but to my members, she said it was at VICTIMISED, where the National Commissioner and the DNCs are sitting. And then I think my PA didn't respond to the call.
On your understanding, what was so significant with the timing of when this happened or when this first happened?
To be honest with you, I suspected that it had to do with the commission because she actually said that the commission was asking her questions about how she came to know about the disbandment, you know. And I remember I also told National Commissioner to say, actually, National Commissioner, General Motsepe called me and I find it odd. And I said to him, luckily I've got my call logs, so I can actually locate where on the day I made this call. But also, maybe to just give further information, and I did give another message to the evidence leader. On the 9th of July, General Motsepe is the one actually who forwarded to me the letter of the minister. And my other question was, if then I already knew and I told her, why then would she be giving me this letter only in July?
Motsepe also said that Mkhwanazi refused with the dockets. Mkhwanazi did not want to take the dockets. Mkhwanazi refused to take the dockets. He said that, no, I don't want it. But from Sintumul, of which is the same thing that Dumisani told us. Khumalo did not say. No, it's not Khumalo who told us. It was Fani Masemula. They did say, even Fani Masemula did say that together with Mkhwanazi, they said the same thing. That the way those dockets reached there is the way the dockets should come back. But now Motsepe changed that whole thing and said Mkhwanazi rejected the dockets. But that's the thing. Sintumule comes today and says that no, he didn't reject the dockets. The only thing he said was that who brought the dockets there? The way the dockets were there, let them come back this side. That was not really a denial or rejection of the dockets. So you see the lies. I don't know, guys, we can never deny this fact that this whole thing has factions. Everybody has chosen the side. Others are in this side, others are on the other side. And she also pointed out to the fact that the dockets were never given. It was never discussed that the dockets are supposed to go to her office. And she's never even received any formal communication that the dockets are supposed to go to her office or in the head office in Pretoria. So these people just did whatever that they want. I wonder what is it that Shadrack Sibiya wanted there. I want to believe, and I put it to you South Africans allegedly as well, because we don't want to be sued. I think that Shadrack Sibiya did make some copies of the dockets and wanted to know how far are the investigations against his friends. Because why did he want the dockets so much to a point that he ended up getting those dockets? And as soon as Mkhwanazi told them that, you know what, bring the dockets, he thought that it's a perfect opportunity and time for them to continue the investigations their way.
For me, now on hindsight, what became a concern was the deliberate exclusion of the provincial commissioner in the process, and maybe it's a lesson also for us as people who are implementing that we should begin to ask questions, not just move because there is an instruction. I think for me, it was a critical, I can't even call it an oversight. I think it's actually suspicious, to say the least.
Even though Sintumule is saying that was not the case, this case was supposed to be first, as part of the winding down process, after the disbandment, the dockets were supposed to first go to Mkhwanazi before they even come to Pretoria. But they bypassed everything, it was a heist process, it was a money heist process. It was a professorial process of someone who just decided to, not follow the rules, just give me the dockets. I don't know what you guys think about the testimony of Sintumule. I think that I was part of the people that thought that she's on the side of Shadrack Sibiya. And I think, it seems like she was, because of how she accounted to Shadrack Sibiya, assuring him that, no, I'm really not on any side and all of that. Seems like she was that person. But I think at the same time, she just wanted the truth. She just wanted to tell her side of the story and what she believes in, because it seems like Shadrack Sibiya has bad blood with a lot of people that are challenging him or against certain things. Because remember that the hostility from Sintumule, or Sintumule waiting for proper direction with regards to the status of the dockets and everything else, seemed as if she's on the side of Abu Kumalo, seemed as if she's on the side of Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And as a result, Shadrack Sibiya thought it's best to make her life a living hell and make her to not even want to enjoy her workplace. I'm thinking that at that time, she maybe hated going to work, because every time she'd be asked, when are the dockets coming? Where are the dockets? All the time. The pressure was too much. This goes to show you that even Sibiya at the back seems like he was also receiving a lot of pressure. Because why is it that the minister was so calm about the situation, but Shadrack Sibiya was there at the forefront, a full deputy National Police Commissioner? Even a National Police Commissioner doesn't do all of this. I don't know what you guys think. Please comment your thoughts. Otherwise, I will see you guys on my next upload. Bye.
It painted a picture of a not so proper and upstanding organization. And I want to submit to you today that in my capacity where I sit, I take what I do seriously. And not just me, but there is a lot of police officers, and I think some of them came here to testify, who chooses this country over and above their families. In one of his testimonies, National Commissioner said, this job doesn't give you a life, and that is for a fact. So we are here not to be served, but to serve, and we do so with dignity and with honor. And I think on hindsight, I'm not sure if the commissioner would allow me to read that yes. In getting involved in the disbandment process, it was because of the vocation or the position that you hold as instructed. And however, I think upon realizing that General Mkhwanazi was not in the process and actually didn't know about it, I expressed serious misgivings. And I also commend him, not that I want to join the queue of social media, but he called out what most didn't, and maybe because he was the most affected. And moving further, and I know that we have the nicest national commissioner who's also very operationally strong, if I may add. But I think he has an obligation to protect us as executive under his command from political exposure. It is difficult to work with people who I think we would call them in organized crime, politically exposed people, the PEPs, And I think the proximity between the executive, not only for SAPS, I think in government, should really be drawn. Maybe one of the recommendations from the Commission, because this is where problems start. Once we have that close proximity to the minister, then lines get blurred. And I think the executive authority, who's the accounting officer, also does not know how to manage the department. And I submit that I think the minister ought to have taken time and effort to orientate himself with how SAPS works and probably consult not just individually, but as a collective, executives, to share his vision. I'm one of the beneficiaries of his project, the SAPS BAXA, that's his project, the CSIR project, and allow us to operationalize his vision in line with his constitutional mandate.